This onward, neath gold, white, and blue.
Wow.
Trying to sing it in my head.
Yeah. Hi,
I'm
Karen.
impressed.
Okay. Oh, wait, we should all mute?
Yes, please.
Okay, mute.
Okay, today we are making vegetable tagine. Tagine is Moroccan, and with Morocco, it's a Mediterranean dish. You major in dried fruits and vegetables and lots of spices. And if you wanted to, you could throw in olives. It all depends. And tagine is made in a tagine dish, which is ceramic, and then has kind of a funnel top, and then it's cooked on the stove. However, I don't own one, so I'm making tagine, vegetable, and this is vegetable tagine in my Dutch oven. So now I am just throwing in the stuff that I have in my refrigerator. You can cut it down the number of things that you throw in there. The spices are kind of important because that is what Moroccan cooking is all about. It's on the Mediterranean, it's on spice routes in the Middle Ages, and the spices are really, really lovely. So the first thing I did was to throw into 2 cups of boiling water a pinch of saffron. Now, you don't have to do the saffron. Saffron is really expensive, but it really does add something to it. But like I said, if you don't want to do saffron, and this was maybe 1/4 teaspoon, it was just a pinch that I put in here. I threw it into the boiling water about 10 minutes ago. You all watched me, or most of you watched me do it, and it's there. Or you can throw in vegetable stock. This is better than bouillon, seasoned vegetable base, and I'm probably going to put that in with the saffron in a little while. The vegetables, well, before I do that, let's see. Now, if I were making this with meat, say with chicken thighs, I would brown the chicken thighs first and then do the rest of take them out and then do the rest of the recipe, throw them back in and let them cook along with whatever vegetables like garlic and onion go along with that. It all is up to you. This is a very peasanty dish. So you can do lamb. Pork would be okay, even though I don't think any Moroccan would eat pork, but because they're Islamic, but what the hell? You could put pork in it, lamb for sure, and chicken. So, and beef. I've even seen a beef tagine recipe with stewed beef. So it's all up to you. Let's talk a little bit about the Moroccan spice. I gave you the recipe, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. Ras el hanout is a mixture of spices. I saw it online. You can actually buy it online for, I think $7. But because I have all of those spices, and I gave you a recipe for it, and I just store it in this cute little container that I got in Wichita at the spice place. I have a whole lot. I put it on any number of things. You can put it on grilled meat, I actually put it on pork chops the other day, which I'm sure Moroccans would have fits with, but there you go. But I just mixed it up, put it in here. And when I think about it, I sprinkle it on a bunch of stuff. It's really kind of a fun and delicious set of spices. It's very similar to garam masala, only those are curry. Those are much more curry type things. But notice it's still spice route stuff. It's all of these wonderful spices. So let's start. In here, I have cinnamon, extra cinnamon, cumin, and turmeric.
That's what I was going to ask, because all of those things were in
Right.
spice mix, but then you put extra as well.
Yeah, and like I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons in, teaspoons, not tablespoons, in here, and mix them all up. And really, honestly, it doesn't matter as long as you're putting in the basic spices. And if you don't like something, I'm looking at you, Carrie. Don't put it in. Seriously, if something bothers you or you don't like it, don't put it in. As long as you're putting in some spices that are really, that are very Moroccan. So, okay, I've got this. I've got my spices all together. I'm going to add some black pepper because I didn't put enough black pepper. And I'm going to do up the spices first. So, I'm just going to throw in some olive oil, very Mediterranean, not much, and heat up the pan. I'm going to chop up my garlic. I've got a bunch of garlic, tiny little stupid cloves. So I didn't get the big ones. So for whatever reason, they didn't give me. So I'm going to slice these up in kind of big chunks. And I'm going to throw in, and now this is heating up, I'm going to throw in the spices and the chopped garlic. Seriously, you can use the stuff in the jar too. I just had some. And this smells, already it smells delightful. It's just beautiful. And I'm going to put in a good dollop of tomato paste. What I'll do with the rest of this is put it in a bag and throw it in the freezer, and then kind of break off pieces when I need it. Because, of course, you don't need a whole lot of tomato paste for any recipe. And you're just cooking this together until you smell it. You can really smell the spices and the garlic. And then you throw in your saffron, water. And bring that up to a boil. Now, that was not really exciting, but that's all that's the real base. If you wanted to, you could put in harissa, but harissa is, and I got this at Trader Joe's. It's spicy. So if you don't like spicy, use this as a condiment rather than putting it into the tagine. So what are you going to put in the tagine? Just a bunch of vegetables. Of course, onions. And Carrie, you don't have to slice, you don't have to chop them into tiny.
Already did.
You
I
already,
did all my pre-chopping on my lunch hour.
and what you're doing basically from now on is you're dumping. I had that half an onion already. I was making salad, so I had another half of an onion. Only this is yellow, instead of yellow, it's red. That goes in. Stir it up. Then potato. I'm doing one potato. That goes in. Stir it up. I have half of a butternut squash because I love butternut squash. So and these can be in any set of they can be cut up small, they can be cut up large, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just get them in there. Oh, I'm going to put some more in. What the heck? Here we go. And stir it up. Then carrots. In kind of weird shapes, or not. What you're doing is you're just, whatever you've got, throw it in. Sweet potato. I have half of a sweet potato. I had sweet potatoes for dinner the other night. So I peeled it. You'll notice you do not have to have all this stuff. You don't have to have it. You can have a butternut squash tagine. You don't have to put in everything that I'm putting in. It just so happens that I have it in the fridge. Celery. Pretty limp celery, but celery nevertheless. And I'm not being careful to make things look pretty because you don't have to. And some peppers. These are peppers that were almost dead in my fridge. And I seeded them. And now I'm going to throw them in. This will cook down. It will not be quite as much. It will cook down. What else do I need? Tomatoes. I had some almost dead tomatoes in the baby tomatoes. So I can't throw them in a salad because they were really almost dead, but they were still edible. They go in. Now, if you didn't want to do tomatoes, you could do a can of diced tomatoes, this size can of diced tomatoes, and throw that in if you want it. Speaking of this, here is garbanzo beans. Again, Trader Joe's garbanzo beans. Tip the whole thing in, including the juice. The garbanzo beans are there because you're not putting any meat in it. So it's a matter of, you know, there's no meat, oh dear, you know, that kind of thing. You need to have some protein, or maybe not. And dried fruit. Here we go. This is apricots. So I'm just chopping, I took a handful. I don't know. If you don't like dried fruit, but the dried fruit really helps, yeah, does add something to this. If you don't like dried fruit, leave it out, or use raisins or dates or something like, or dried figs. And this is what it looks like. It looks stunning. It's really quite good. And I think I got, oh, no, I don't have everything. Sorry. Let's talk about preserved lemons for a second. Now, I have a lemon tree, which gives me thousands of lemons. And what I do is I take lemons, divide them into quarters, you know, cut them down from the top into quarters, throw them into salt. I salt them and throw them into a container, and then fill up the container with lemons, and then pour lemon juice over the top. And they are absolutely delicious. They're a little salty, so you kind of have to, if I added salt to that, you'd have to, you know, you'd have to wash them off. But I haven't added any salt. And they're really good. And you just chop them up, and it really adds a lot to the Tajin. Very traditional. You're chopping it up and throwing it in. And then you clap a lid on it, and you go away, and you know, pour yourself a glass of wine. And that's all there is to it, other than you'll want to hang on, I've got to wash my hands and then I'll show you the next thing. Which is making couscous. Couscous, I just bought regular couscous from Trader Joe's. And it goes 1 to 2. 1 amount of couscous to 2 amounts of water. You take the water, you add a little bit of butter to it, a little bit of salt, bring it to a boil. When that comes to a boil, tip your couscous, the dry couscous, into it, turn the heat off, clap a lid on, and let it sit for 5 minutes. And it's done. You flake it with a fork, all is well. And when you serve it, I would suggest that you serve it with herbs, chopped herbs. This is mint from my garden, Italian parsley, cilantro if you like it. I'm looking at you, Carrie. Yeah, I know you don't like it at all. That's why I said that. So there you have it. You chop this up, serve it with Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, and then harissa or hot sauce, some kind of hot sauce. Now, if you don't like hot sauce, don't put it in. Just, you don't have to, it's up to you. But this is really very, very tasty. And it's really very cheap too. And it works out so that you can dress it up, you can dress it down, but almost everybody likes it. I think this was the last Thursday dinner I made before lockdown. I think this was the last one I made. And I served it with flat bread, pita bread, and feta cheese. And what else could go on that? You could throw in spinach or, some kind of greens so that you could cook it up, or you could put it on top of it. It's really very tasty. So there you have it. So you can unmute yourself and ask questions now. Susan?
Go ahead, Susan.
I have a question. I didn't research this and I never have, but I've always wondered, what purpose does the Tajin pot serve? Or was it just a facile way for people, Moroccans or nomadic people, to grab onto something and, so that they could store it? Does it serve any culinary
I
purpose?
think that it does serve what I've read, and I'm just what I've read. It has to do with the steam going back into, so that when it steams up and then it drains back into the stew. So that's what I've read. I have never used one. It's supposed to be it's supposed to go over coals.
Right.
And if you were to use it on the stove, you'd have to have a diffuser so that it wouldn't crack and break and stuff like that. I've wanted one, but then it's always like, do I want, how do I store it? Where do I
Yeah.
put it, you know? And I've always made tagines in my Dutch oven, which lives on my stove. So what were you going to ask, Carrie?
So, because baby girl is a meat person and I had some leftover rotisserie chicken from last night's dinner, I'm gonna throw that on top. Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Should have said that. I think it's a good way to use up rotisserie chicken. I mean, hey, why not?
Yeah.
I probably am going to taste it before, you know, it's going to take a while for, oh, look, it's beginning to boil. My stuff is beginning to boil now for the couscous. So I'm going to stick it in there. Stir it up. Turn it off. And in 5 minutes, it's supposed to be done. Well, it will be done. I mean, that's all there is to couscous. It's
Would you add green vegetables?
now, the green vegetables can go in there too. Broccoli, zucchini, spinach. I'm probably going to throw a handful, or more than a handful, of spinach on top of it. Like before I serve it, because spinach goes like poof and it goes away.
Yeah.
But that I would, and I've got these green herbs that I'm going to chop up. Probably mix them with sliced almonds too, and that will go on top. So green veg. I just didn't have any. And I didn't go to the store. I haven't gone to the store in a week. And this is stuff that's just been laying around. So by all means, you know, like there's eggplant and lamb tagine. It's made the exact same way, only you just use onions, garlic, eggplant, all those spices. I think it's got a little bit of tomato sauce in it, and lamb. Then you cook it until the lamb is done. You don't have to use all of these vegetables. You can major in one vegetable or two vegetables, and you can switch them up. In the summertime, I've made it with the stuff from the garden: tomatoes, zucchini, and eggplant. That's all that I put in. It's just like a weird ratatouille. Ratatouille is the same thing. It's like all of these Mediterranean things are, what can we get away without meat, or with a small amount of meat. And yeah, there are touches like the harissa, like the spice mix, lemon, that are very, throw in olives, green olives, chopped green olives too. All of that would be very typically Moroccan. But every Mediterranean country, like Israel, Lebanon, Greece, Italy, Spain, all of them have a variation on this recipe, because peasants live there, and you know, it's an easy thing, and you can throw it on and go about, you know, plowing the South 40, and then come back and have dinner. And really, it will be another maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and it'll be done. So, and you chop up if you chop up the vegetables smaller, it will be done sooner. So,
We've got a.
And then
couscous
you'll have
roll.
caponata.
Yeah.
That's what I made.
Yeah.
I have a question on your recipe. Maybe I didn't understand it. It says a cup of couscous and a cup of water, and I thought you said 1 to 2, the
Oh,
ratio.
It
I
should,
wasn't talking to you.
What?
it should be 2 cups of water.
So it's like so it's like doing rice, in other words. It's the
Yeah.
2 to 1. Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay,
At least
perfect.
that's it. You follow the directions on the box.
Okay, but I follow your directions, not the box. So yours works better than the box. Thank you.
You can make a stew like that in a couscousier.
Oh, wait a minute, it is 1 to 1.
Top and it steams.
It is 1 to 1. I screwed up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It is 1 to 1. Let's see what I did.
What did you say, Carol?
You can use a couscousier, which is a great big high pot, and it has like a steam pot on the top, and you put your couscous in the top and your meat and everything that you're stewing on the bottom, and the broth from that comes up and flavors the couscous.
oh, wow.
Oh, that would be good.
It is.
Great. That sounds great.
But you have a kitchen that's 3 times bigger than my apartment
Well,
to
it's it lives
store
out in the
things
garage.
like that.
I just did it 2 to 1 and it looks fine.
Okay,
Who knew?
do 1.5.
Yeah, whatever. I
Okay.
mean, honestly, a lot of this stuff, well, rice really does make a difference, but couscous is just kind of almost a pasta.
Okay.
It's pretty much a pasta. So, and what I'm gonna do here is chop up some leaves for the top of it, which will be fine. And my kittens really didn't know what I was doing out there in the garden, chopping, harvesting herbs. They had never seen anybody do something that stupid. So I'm just going to do these, which will taste wonderful on top.
You have the girls all ready for the rain?
They don't know. They're children.
They don't go out in the rain.
No, they don't. Well, they were out bouncing around the other day in the rain, but it was because they'd never seen rain before.
Ah.
They're babies.
Mhm.
It's like bringing babies or
Oh, no, I was thinking of the chickens.
oh, the chickens, they go inside. They're not
Oh.
stupid. They just go inside. Okay, but my kittens just are like, the world is new.
Yeah,
Taking a puppy to the
well, it only rains once a year, so. I
yeah,
mean,
for real. Okay, let me show you what it looks like right now.
Mm.
And it smells divine.
Sure looks yummy.
And
I'd love to
like
smell
I
it for the
said,
first
I'm going
time.
to put, actually, I'm going to do that right now.
Let me show you mine.
Okay, let's see. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, nice.
This is lovely.
So I added some spinach earlier and I added some broccoli.
Did you put tomato sauce in yours?
I
Or
did
tomato
just,
paste?
just a little
Just a
teaspoon.
little? I thought I was the only one that dumped it in a plastic bag and threw it in the freezer.
No, no, I put it in a plastic bag and throw it in the freezer. But I also do what I do with ground beef. I'm going to show you that.
It also prevents people from ever wanting to go in your freezer. Like Stuart, for instance.
This is, this is ground beef. I bought a bunch of it and I scored it with actually it was like a chopstick. And when I need ground beef, I break off a piece. I freeze it all flat. And
Mhm.
then I just break off what I need of the ground beef because I buy it at Costco and like there's, it's one of those huge packages. And this just lives flat in my freezer and whenever I want to. Now with this, I'll be putting this in a small bag, scoring it with a chopstick on the outside, not on the inside, on the outside, and about a tablespoon for each little square. And then when I need some, I just break it off. And, no problem.
Very clever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know when I started doing that, but it's a good quick way, and you're not defrosting like the entire can again, and you don't have to.
And you never need more than like a tablespoon.
Right. You
Even if it's a small can, you only need like a tablespoon or two.
Right. So if unless you get one of those wonderful squeeze things, like but I haven't been out to buy it, so I don't know whether they're still out there or not.
I think Trader Joe's has those, don't they?
They did 9 months ago.
Ralph's even has them.
Who does?
Ralph,
Who does?
Ralph's Grocery.
Oh,
Right.
really?
Yeah.
Ralph and Pavilions both sell it.
Good.
Pavilions does too, Bunny?
Pavilions
Hmm.
also.
I always keep one of the ginger tubes around from Trader Joe's. It lasts for a year, and sometimes you want just a little bit of ginger, fresh ginger. When it comes in a tube, it's great. Well, I mean, you don't want to over ginger anything. Really easy to over ginger.
You don't cook with ginger at all.
You don't?
I'm one of the only people I have ever known who is allergic to ginger.
Oh, I know people that are allergic to ginger.
Really?
I know people that are allergic to garlic.
Oh, that's sad.
Oh,
It's so sad. So sad.
So when you serve it, you can put a dollop of Greek yogurt, a little bit of your chopped goodies, your chopped herbs and your nuts, almonds, and if you are into hot things, harissa. This is really a chili sauce, harissa. But again, it's at Trader Joe's, and if you don't want it, don't use it. You can use sriracha sauce or pico de gallo. All of that is good. So there you have it.
That's what Stuart puts in the caponata. I said you should be shot. If you were in Sicily, they would shoot you. And they'd find your body in a landfill. Who puts sriracha in caponata? I mean, come on.
Stuart, there's a reason
Stuart.
why you love that man, and it's not.
I do. We love him, but still, he's got, that hot sauce thing going for him. I don't know what that is.
So there you have it. That is Tajin. I've given you all kinds of variations on it. If you make your Ras El Harut, which I've just massacred the name. Store it in an airtight container. And when you think about it, sprinkle it on stuff. It's really a nice little treat.
Do they have that from Pensies? Does Pensies have that?
Yes.
They do?
I'm pretty sure they do. I haven't checked it, but it's a very famous spice. So
Combination of spices. I'm gonna, because the next time I have a Pensies order, I'll put that in the order.
but I had all of the spices already that are on that list. And, you know, I might as well just make it up myself because it would cost nothing for me. So,
I
Right.
made mine, but I had everything but the cardamom.
yeah, and that is just my thing because I made cardamom bread the other day and had some. So,
Oh, see, I have
Yum.
cardamom, but it's for pickling. It's whole cardamom.
the whole stuff.
Yeah.
The cardamom powder is really good in pastries. It tastes wonderful. So that's just something. I think next week, if you don't mind, I'll make I'll make stuffed chicken breasts.
Oh,
And
yum.
The Hasselback chicken breasts that we made years ago, Carrie, when you were the only one coming to Thursday dinner.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yes. Oh, yes, we should do that.
I found that recipe again and I thought, oh, this is so good. I should make it again.
It was good.
So I'll send you the recipe. It'll be a baked dish. It won't be on the stove, and it'll just be a matter of shaping it. And I know that it was a huge hit the 2 times that I've made it. And you really liked it, Carrie, right?
Yes, I loved it.
Yeah. So I will send you all the recipe and I'll give you all kinds of variations if you want. And next week it's at 4:30.
Yeah, we're back
Okay.
to normal, guys. Thank you. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
No, it's okay. It did, no biggie.
It's all your fault. We all hate you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay, you just keep trying. That's all, Carrie.
That's all I can do.
We just get confused, that's all.